Hey guys, this is a proper task guide for the holiday event called Khorovod, and I will mention right away that you do end up getting an achievement for completing this event, since I do know that that is important to some of you. But just know that it does seem that this achievement is time gated at the moment, and it doesn't actually unlock for you once you do finish the requirements. Instead, your task will change from showing completed 0 to completed 1. And when the event is over, theoretically, you should end up getting the achievement to pop if your task does show as 1 like mine does here. So now I will explain to you guys what you do have to do, since that's likely the only reason why some of you ended up clicking on this video, and then I will get into some of my advice and tips that I have from completing this event myself earlier today. So for this event, you will have to go to 6 different maps in a single life by utilizing the transit feature in the Khorovod game mode, starting with Shoreline, and then on each one of these maps, then you will have to go to the Christmas tree location where you do have to refuel the generator, and this generator powers the Christmas tree for each location. Now, the location of the Christmas trees is going to be the same place that you did have to go for the Ragman task Hide in Plain Sight, and all the maps that you have to go to for this event are going to be the same ones that you also had to do for Hide in Plain Sight as well. Now, the fuel that you do have to use for the generators is going to be the Dan Jacko's Green Festive Fuel containers that was added with this patch. Now, once you do end up putting the fuel in the generator, then you will have a 5-minute timer that does begin next to the transit extract in the top right corner, and then you will need to defend this area against the scavs that do spawn in essentially the whole time. And on top of this, the generator can and will break down or stop running periodically on you, and then you will have to go and repair it to start the countdown back up again. Now, you will know when the generator does break down or stop running, because the music around the Christmas tree will stop, and then you also won't hear the generator running anymore, and then the timer will also pause in your top right corner. And if you are close enough to the generator, or when you do get close enough to it, then you will get a red box that does appear on your screen that says repair is needed. And then eventually, once the 5-minute timer is completed, then you will have an audio cue that does chime over top of your speakers, and then you can go and take the corresponding transit to the next location for the task, and then you can do this step all over again for that specific location. So the order to which you will have to traverse the maps is going to be Shoreline first, then Lighthouse, then Reserve, then Woods, then Customs, and then lastly Interchange. And this does have to be done in one life, and at the Interchange location, you should get credit just for loading into that map. So you actually don't even have to do the generator on that map, and it honestly won't matter even if you die once you get there. But if you do decide to do the generator or not, then you can just extract normally from Interchange in order to finish off the transit loop. But if you do end up dying at any point before Interchange, then this will definitely be a different story. Then any progress made will end up being lost, and then you will have to restart back at the Shoreline map all over again. So that's going to be the quick and dirty for this task in a nutshell, and now I will get into some of the more detailed stuff about this task that some of you guys may want, and then also some recommendations from myself after completing this task today, so that you all have the information that you could possibly need while attempting this task yourself. So if this event is something that you are going to try to attempt, in order to get access, then you will have to complete the Skier task Burning Rubber, and then the proper task Cheer Up, which is to construct the Christmas tree in your hideout. And that does require your generator to be at level 1 and then have all 3 of the different colored ornaments. Now, once this is completed, then you will have access to the Khorovod task from Prapor. And once you do accept this task, then you will receive a Khorovod armband as initial equipment from Prapor. So just make sure that you do go to your messenger and then accept all from him. And then be sure to equip it onto your PMC, since you will not be able to load into the event Khorovod mode without it on. So with the armband on and at the map selection screen, then you will be able to select the Khorovod game mode in the upper right hand corner, just like how you used to have to access the marathon mode in the last wipe. And once you are in the new mode, then you will only be able to load into Shoreline, since this will be the starting point for this task. And just so you guys know, if you are on the PvP servers, then you can have other PMCs in your raid who are not in Khorovod mode, they're just in regular PvP game mode. So even though you could run into other people who do want to be chill and team up for this event, just be aware that you can also run into other players who are in regular PvP servers who will basically kill on sight. So before you go ahead and load into a Shoreline raid to start, I would recommend that you do plan accordingly, since this is another transit style task where you will be going into 6 different maps. So that means at this stage of a wipe with low skills, then you will definitely need lots of food and also drinks and rations. And because it does have to be done in one life, then you are going to be fighting off scavs at each map. So I would definitely bring in extra ammo for sure. Now, if you are running with a group, then I would actually recommend that you guys all run the same caliber, so that if somebody ends up being a little bit more aggressive and using up most of their ammo in a raid, then the team can actually spot them ammo in order to keep them from having to use a scav weapon, and then essentially it will keep them in the fight. And if you guys are trying this event in PvP, I do think that it is better suited for a 3 to 4 man, just where you do have to stick around a certain area defending it and also repairing the generator. Then you can have people watching multiple angles and then also covering you while you're repacking or healing up, or even just repairing the generator, whereas I believe in PvE mode, this could definitely be completed solo. Now, some other things to bring with you is going to be the Dan Jacko's Green Festive Fuel containers, as this is what is required to fuel the generators at each location. but there can actually be a hard spawn for each one of these containers around the Christmas trees, but then you do run the risk of it not spawning in that raid or somebody else beating you there and taking it. And in total, you will need 5 containers at this time, since the task does state that you just have to reach Interchange in Khorovod mode. It doesn't say anything about having to complete the generators on the Interchange map as well. And unfortunately, I can personally confirm that this is the case, since on my final transit to Interchange, the game decided to spawn me away from my team and with a completely separate group, and I ended up getting shot in the back and killed 10 seconds out of my spawn on the very last map for this event task. However, glass half full, I still ended up getting the one as a completed for this task, and also so did my friend, since they ended up fully completing the task and doing the last generator and then extracting. So essentially it looks like I'm also going to be getting the achievement as well. So just because technically you only need 5, everybody in my group ended up bringing in a fuel container, and then we essentially just hope that we found one around one of the trees as well in order to cover us. Now, another important item that I do recommend that you bring into raid is going to be the Leatherman multi-tool, and although it's not mandatory that you bring one of these in for this task, it will literally cut the repair time of the generator in half when it does break down. So I would definitely recommend buying one of these off of mechanic level 1 and placing it in your special slot if you don't already have one of these. And essentially it will just make the task easier in the long run by taking you less time to repair and also keeping you vulnerable for the least amount of time possible. And then lastly, you can bring in some money to try and send some items back to your stash while going to the transit, but it was shockingly bugged for me, which, never happens in this game, and it didn't work whatsoever. But I did hear that it may be because my money was in my secure container and it only works if the money's in your pockets, but I can't confirm whether or not this is true, as I did not test it myself. So now I will show you guys a map of each location with the Christmas tree and generator locations, as well as the location of the corresponding transit. So on Shoreline, the Christmas tree is going to be located in front of the west wing of the health resort, and then where you do have to go is up above the swamp area just next to the path to Lighthouse extract in order to take the transit to Lighthouse. And then on Lighthouse, the Christmas tree is going to be located by the convenience store next to the bridge that does lead to water treatment plant. And then the transit is going to be located on the other side of the water treatment plant by the Lighthouse car extract. So this is obviously not going to be a fun spot at all to get to. On Reserve, the Christmas tree is located by the big helicopter just in front of White Queen and Black Bishop buildings. And then the transit is going to be located in the far corner behind the RBVO marked room, which is behind the armored train building location. On Woods, the Christmas tree is located in the sawmill area of the map just in front of the 2 open warehouses. And then the transit location will be located up at the Ruef roadblock extract behind the med camp area of the map. On Customs, the Christmas tree is located just outside the sniper roadblock off the main bridge, just up above the smuggler's boat. And then the transit location is located behind Big Red and the storage container area at the very corner of the map next to the trailer park PMC extract. And then on Interchange, the Christmas tree is located right next to the stage in the parking lot, which is almost directly in front of the main Ultra Mall entrance. And once this one is complete, then you can go and use any extract that you do want to. Now, some things I did want to mention is that if you do get messed up in raid and then you end up with a destroyed or blacked out body part, including your thorax or your head, as long as you can get to the transit, then it will be partially repaired when you do load into the next raid. So then you will just have to heal it yourself after loading in, but at least it won't be blacked out anymore. And it is also not a bad idea to use a suppressed weapon when doing this task, just so that people can't hear you mowing down scavs from literally all the way across the map, and then that way they won't end up trying to rush at you. And then I did just want to mention again how broken and buggy that the transits are, just to remind you guys to pay very close attention to how many people that you do spawn in with, as well as what every member of your group is wearing, because there's always that chance that what happened to me can also happen to you, and that you guys will get spawned in with a totally different group that you assume is your friends, and then you end up getting blasted. Or on the other side of that coin, a person could spawn in with your own group and then just mow everybody down as well. And honestly, I think that it's pathetic that I do have to warn you guys about this, especially since this has been a known bug since last wipe, and that it was actually brought to their attention by multiple people, including Pestily. But instead of actually fixing this problem, they turn around and they make an achievement and game mode that completely revolves around this damn broken-ass game mechanic that is essentially RNG if you get kicked in the taint or not. But in all honesty, it doesn't surprise me, since it wouldn't be Tarkov if they weren't pulling something like this. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that a lot of people have been having issues with the transit on reserve and saying that it was bugged, but I'm not sure if they're still going to the old location or if it is truly bugged for them. My group ended up going to the new location, which I will show again now, and it did end up working totally fine for us. And that building is essentially right behind the RBVO building, over by the armored train. And also just be aware that on top of the packs of scavs, you could also run into Santa and other PMCs, including ones that are not doing the Khorovod event. And also, if you do go at nighttime, don't forget about the chance of cultists on Shoreline, Customs, and Woods. So hopefully you guys found this event guide helpful, and it does help you to clarify the whole thing, and for you guys to also get the event completed and land yourself another achievement. Thank you guys for choosing my guide to watch on this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.